Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing chess versus checkers, where checkers pieces move one square forward and capture two squares diagonally by jumping over pieces. My goal is to beat Fairy Stockfish. Let's get started with game number one. Alright, game number one. As you can see, I've given Fairy Stockfish an army of checkers pieces. Now, the normal checkers setup would require that the pieces are placed on only one color square, but I decided that that would make it a little bit too easy for me since I would literally be safe on half of the 64 squares of the chessboard. So instead, I've gone ahead and compressed the checkers setup, and now Fairy Stockfish also has 16 pieces to work with instead of the usual 12. So in my head, I've done it a service. However, I have played way too many variants to not immediately notice a tiny little issue, which is the fact that I'm pretty sure I can just put a queen on the side of the board and run down the edge. Since checkers pieces can notoriously never capture onto the side of the board, they do have to move two squares, which would put it outside of the realm of the 8x8 grid. We are met with a checkers piece moving to f6, and I do believe I can just play queen to h5 now. I win this game by capturing all of these checkers pieces, and Stockfish would win if it somehow captured or checkmated my king. We're met with another checkers piece moving out to the side, and it's not actually threatening to capture my queen, because that would require the checkers piece to move outside to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, 4, which is of course not a square. So I can actually just slide to the back of the board, capture my first piece, and go to town on all of these checkers pieces, and as long as Fairy Stockfish doesn't checkmate me in that time, it should be a pretty quick victory. We do get another checkers piece advancing towards the center, and of course Fairy Stockfish is a strong enough engine that it probably understands that it needs to run down the center of the board, and loosely it's kind of doing that. I just don't think it's going to be able to do it in time. Okay, you can see it's loosely sort of started an attack. I mean, in a sense, it's controlling some critical squares, but without me making some absolutely horrendous mistake, like, I don't know, pawn to g4, knight to e2, and allowing some crazy double capture onto the back rank, which would need to be supported by another checkers piece anyways before it promotes to a king. Otherwise, I just take back immediately. Unless I do something absolutely diabolical, this should just still be a pretty straightforward victory. Okay, this is getting a little bit interesting because I don't want to accidentally stalemate the engine either. Is that a thing that can happen? Can I stalemate? Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. Wait a second. Okay, should I take? There are no legal captures, but it can still move. I can take, it can move again, and then I would just recapture with my king, which would win me the game. Wonderful. Take. It does promote to a king, but I will simply take back. And with that, Fairy Stockfish seems to think that this has now ended in a draw, but I have defeated Fairy Stockfish by just capturing all of its checkers pieces. Let me know in the comment section down below if there's any way that you guys think that I can sort of tweak the game rules without completely changing the essence of chess versus checkers. I mean, I don't think it's a surprise that chess had a substantial advantage. Checkers pieces are probably worth like what, 2, maybe 3 points if we're using the same sort of chess point eval system. So realistically, it started off with like what, anywhere between like 16 and 20 some points, and I started off with 39, so that was never really going to be close. Let me know in the comment section down below how I should tweak the rules to make it a little more even without changing the essence of the game. But for the time being, I do have something else kind of fun that I want to do, which is, of course, to play an actual game of checkers. I consider myself something of a chess player. It's what I make videos about. It's what I compete in IRL tournaments. And frankly, I can't even remember the last time that I played an actual game of checkers. So we'll do a part 2 where it's kind of like chess player tries out checkers. Let's give it a go. I suppose we'll play online and against anyone. All right, it seems like we've been paired with an opponent. We've gotten the red pieces. I don't know if that's a good thing, a bad thing. I'm going to assume it's like playing with the black pieces in chess. All I remember is that I have to avoid, I guess, them jumping over and capturing my pieces. I suppose here I could capture either way. They would be able to take back. I have no idea if that's really an advantage or not, but I'll go ahead and bite. They do in fact recapture. I can't remember if capturing is compulsory or not. I think I've played in the past where it has been compulsory, but I'm not sure that that's always the case. All right, they advance one of their pieces. I'm also not totally sure what strategy I'm looking for here. Like, should I be actively already, even though I haven't quote unquote developed my pieces like you would in chess, should I be baiting them to capture so I can take back? Or should I just focus on pushing my pieces towards the center? I've also noticed that we have like this 1-minute timer, but it's not an actual bullet game. It's just a minute per turn, which is, I think, very interesting. Let's grab more. Oh, my opponent quit. Okay. That doesn't feel like a victory, so let's try that again. All right, play online, play against anybody. And this time we get the black pieces. Okay, let's launch ourselves into the center of the board. Honestly, I'm going to assume the last opponent quit because I was taking too long to move. So I'm going to try and pick up the pace this time, just a tiny bit. All right. Actually, I wonder if I have to take. It looks like I don't have to because you can see that this square has highlighted. So I guess I don't have to take, but I kind of want to. I suppose they will take back, which they do. Let's offer another capture. And they kind of have to take because, or I suppose they could move this piece up to c3, but no. Instead, they move to the side, which allows me to take. Oh, but then they can double take, and then I take back. And that kind of worked out okay, but more so by coincidence. Okay, let's keep advancing. I kind of want them to take so I can take back towards the center. They do not, however. Instead, oh, they threaten to capture my piece on g5, which is pretty unfortunate, actually. Because the only way for me to defend that is to move this guy to h6, which would then allow the capture on f6 without rebuttal of any kind. So I've walked myself into a corner. Spectacular. I'm not sure there's anything I can do about this. Okay, I'm going to play the only move that I have on the board, which I assume is this. Right, they do in fact take. Let's threaten this piece, because I'm not sure it can be defended, right? If he moves this piece forward, then I have this double capture down to d2. But instead we get this movement to e5, I can still take by jumping over back to g5, and I can also take this. I lose this piece, right? They can move to c7, but then I have this recapture. I really cannot credit myself for any of what just happened, but somehow we are now up one checkers piece, which is, I'm imagining, wonderful news. Okay, let's advance this piece towards what I'm going to call the queen side of the board, because I feel like we don't have a lot of pieces over there. Also, are there any tactics that I can play for? I'm trying to think here. I could advance this piece to f4, right? Should they capture, I simply take back, and I'm happy with that exchange. It's fair. If I advance and they don't capture, then I always have control over g3. Which I think is also good. Or maybe I should bring more pieces out? I'm not really sure. I'm gonna bring more pieces out. I don't feel like I need to complicate this any more than it already is. I wonder if checkers players also have like board vision like we have in chess, in the sense that they can kind of just look at the checkers board and roughly understand immediately what's going on. Because I know that I can look at a chess position that at least came from a real game and pretty quickly understand what the situation is. I wonder if checkers players have the exact same sort of pattern recognition. I'm assuming they do. Okay, we get this checkers piece out to c3. Let's advance this way because, you've got to be kidding me. I was gonna say because there's no double jump, but there is. They can take to g5 and then to e7, but somehow they don't even notice that. Oh, that is an absolute fluke. Okay, so I can block it now. Thank goodness. And I think we might have them zugzwanged here. I'm not sure there are any spectacular moves for them. I think f2 to g3 is the only move here that holds on for another turn. Anything else, I think I have jumps. Oh no, they have this as well. Okay, but I can now come out to the side. They have to block by moving this piece to c3, otherwise I jump b4. And then when they do that, then I can jump e3 down to d2. I wish I could draw arrows. I feel like it would make my explanations that much more clear. But okay, we now have this jump down to d2, and we'll promote to a king here in just a moment. As long as I don't get bamboozled, but I don't see any reason why I should, I'll go ahead and promote my checkers piece to a king, and then I'll come back and retroactively hunt everybody down, but the opponent does in fact quit. All right, with that, somehow we do manage to win a game of checkers as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Again, let me know down below if you have any recommendations on how I should modify chess versus checkers to make the checkers pieces, actually have a chance. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.